Hi, Misha here, and we were out at the cabin working on another project, and this was going to be a porch video, but we lost daylight. But I wanted to bring out an old favorite today. A friend traded me a few rounds of 5.45. It's kind of debating what to shoot out of it. Almost grabbed the Arsenal SLR-104. Last time we brought out that SGL-31, did a video quite recently. In the end, though, I elected for my first gun, and still one that has a soft spot in my heart, my Romanian Cugir SAR-2, their semi-automatic version of the PA86 rifle. And it's been a minute since I've ran a few mags to this. We don't have a whole lot of time today, but let's put a mag through it for old time's sake. Make sure it hasn't lost its edge over the last few years in the safe. SAR-2. Never
Old
fails.
Faithful.
Indeed. I've discussed what I've done to this. Obviously, this doesn't look like a SAR-2. Those were imported between 1999 and 2002 into 2003, selling off stock. And so, smack dab during the federal assault weapons ban, which thankfully sunset at the end of 2004. Because of that and import regulations, these were sold with a fixed stock. They did have a pistol grip, no bayonet lug, no threaded barrel. Over the years, of course, I've restored most of the features, including giving it the original 22mm threads with long muzzle brake that came with the bayonet lug. I never bothered to restore the accessory lug that would have required replacing the gas block. And since this has always just been a dependable gun, I didn't want to monkey with the gas system. You know what I mean? I put on the proper so-called Bakelite. It's actually AG4 upper handguard. This is a proper PA86 lower handguard, affectionately called a dong. This is the correct green sling, both for the military gun and for the semi-auto. These all came with the side scope rail, and this is the push button style folding stock that I bought in 2002, but I swear I didn't put it on the gun until after 2004. And to go with the stock, I found an unissued, unserialized, upswept handle bolt carrier from K-Bar many moons ago. That just makes it a little easier to charge with the stock folded. And it has a Romanian metal steel magazine with the grooves for the AK74 style loading tool. Nothing new here, but this was kind of a nostalgia day, so it seemed a good time to visit an old favorite. Wanted to come to the table just for a moment. Back 20 years ago, when I bought this rifle, not only was having a folding stock not permitted, but the idea of having a bayonet lug on one was not. There were no pre-ban AKs chambered for 5.45x39, aside from the 50 or so Chinese 88Ss that came in. So, effectively none. I remember doing, photograph things and whatnot for TFB and all that back in the day. TFR, I guess. Any kind of putting a bayonet on using the rear here and just loosely setting it on the front to look like it had a bayonet stuck on. Not being able to do it for all those years kind of made it worth doing when we could and when the parts were available. And this is a correct Romanian one. Even has the synthetic hanger. And back then, these did not ship with the Romanian steel 30-round mags because they could not be certified as pre-ban, pre-September 1994. So instead, they shipped with older Bakelite mags because those were all made before that time. A fun little fact. Here's the 4-cell Romanian pouch. It too has the synthetic canvas belt loops. These were pretty hard to find at one time too. A lot of the Romanian stuff was. Somewhat opposite, today the push button style Romanian stocks are not always the easiest thing to find, although you found the lever type more. Back in the day though, because you really weren't supposed to put these on guns, so always banned, the stocks were available readily so. You can still buy them, you just were not supposed to put them on a gun. You know how that goes. And you could find the foregrips quite easy too. A lot of people didn't want them. Now these Bakelite upper handguards, those were difficult to find. You could find the Bulgarian ones, but the Romanians were somewhat difficult. That's kind of how Romanian parts have been. When they're here, but when they're gone, they become hard to find and often very expensive. Just what a good old gun. This and the Arsenal SLR-105 were really the U.S.'s introduction to the 545 import. Often, back then and even today, we call these Romanian AK74s. They're really not. The PA86 is its own pattern. The receiver is more AKM based. We have a 45 degree, at least external gas block, and the muzzle brake and threads are unique. This is a longer brake, and these are 22, not 24 millimeter threads. And of course, the furniture is unique, as is the upswept charging handle. It's just its own unique thing, and a rifle that brought me great joy 2 decades ago when I picked it up, and since then has proven to be probably the best $350 I've ever spent. It's brought so much. So with that, yeah, we'll wrap things up. Just felt like sharing with you today, guys. SAR-2.
I'd be surprised if there were any surprises.
Yep. So yeah, this was my first 545 gun and one of my earliest AKs, and this is my original, purchased back in early 2003. In fact, J-Ro might have been the one to drive me to go pick it up because it was a special order at the gun shop, and it's been with me ever since. Even though it's changed its look a few times over the years, the base gun is still the same, still dependable, very light recoiling. The only thing I will always say about these 545 guns, they do seem to heat up a little more than 223. Could be wrong about that, could be perception, but seems to be the case. But it's certainly one that I will never get rid of. Too many memories, including shooting it out here at the cabin all over the years. So just thought it deserved another chance to come out and stretch its legs. Sorry again we didn't get a lot of shooting done today, but, you know, needs must and all that. Appreciate you hanging out for this quite short video. See, I can make short videos. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can check out the link to the Patreon page. And if you can't do that, totally understand. Just liking, sharing, subscribing, and definitely commenting. They all help a great deal. So with that, appreciate you hanging out, tuning in. This is Misha. Catch you very soon next time.